everyone. I was just going to talk for just a few minutes. On Wednesday, I traveled to an MRI imaging clinic. This was the next step in my medical treatment. The MRI clinic, to get me in and get seen, was 3.5 hours from my home. The reason is that COVID is very much a thing where I live and is causing substantial backlogs. So to get me seen in a timely fashion, I had to travel to where an MRI machine was actually available for an appointment. I've spent the past few days just sort of resting and recovering. Any time that I travel, the jostling, the little bumps and ruts in a road, that jostling is hard on my knees. Up here in Canada, what happens is there'll be a very, very, very small crack in the road, but because we have 4 really well-defined seasons, rain will get in that crack, and then winter comes along and ice sort of heaves the road. Now, it's not a big deal when this happens once, but when this happens several times, you start seeing the splits in the road surface and the road decays. And that's what becomes hard on me. I did have an absolutely lovely time. My friend Joel came to pick me up on Tuesday afternoon, and I spent Tuesday evening with him and his wife. We talked some, and then I joined a grief support group. I've been missing my aunt that died just over a year ago, and I wanted to ask for help. The reason I asked for help is because I'm in a lot more pain because of my hips and knees, this time compared to when the last time someone significant died in my life. And I didn't want to get stuck. So I had my Tuesday evening session at their place, and my friend Joel and his wife were really gracious in just sort of getting out of the way so I could have time to talk to the group and for it to remain as private as practical in the context of them being in their bedroom. The funniest thing did happen though. I brought my laptop computer with me. Let me just grab it. Yeah, here it is. So this is a wooden stand that I've made. I love woodworking. These things are really fun, and this is my tablet. Well, didn't their pet cat jump up on the table and get on my keyboard? I'm sitting there making notes and look up, go, and just without thinking, I said, "There's a cat!" Anyway, this cat took a liking to me. That was sort of a mild comic relief. Now, to make it so I could get through the MRI appointment and the travel, the doctor prescribed what's inside this sort of syringe. It's not a needle. What this is a way of dispensing a cream type of medication. So here in Canada, 4% lidocaine gel is available to anyone to buy over the counter. But I knew that this MRI was going to be very difficult for me. You're tied in a position on a table where you can't move. And then there's the 3.5 hours travel, although we spread it between the Tuesday, then we wanted to get me back home on the Wednesday. So this is similar to what's in that first bottle I showed you, but it's a little bit more powerful. And it's just a cream that you rub across where it hurts, and your skin slowly releases what's inside there so that you're not in pain. It's not painful. This really helped. I do, though, want to talk a minute about what helped me the most during the MRI. This is about having the skills to cope and coexist with pain. This MRI clinic had the ability to stream Spotify music to the hearing protection I was wearing during my examination. So the technician asked me what type of music I wanted to listen to, and I said classic. Now I readily admit that I was uncomfortable and tense during the first 3 or so minutes of the examination. But during that time, I had been intensely focusing on the classical music that I was hearing in my headset. And by the time we got to the third minute, I was able to be relaxed and be focused on what I was hearing and not on the physical pain that was building very slowly in my body. So I wanted to suggest to you, in all sincerity, to take advantage of music as a skill to get through the times when your pain is hard. This could be while you sleep. Maybe the first hour in the morning's hard for you, or maybe it's late afternoon, maybe it's evening. There's been, I've been in pain for years, and when it hurts has not always been one time of the day. But I wanted to suggest you think about music as a skill for coping and coexisting with pain. Now, if you're married and you share a bed, there are these pillow speakers. Where would be a good example? Yeah, okay, there we go. That's a good example. This is my dental floss. I keep it beside my computer. You can sort of picture a small pillow speaker like this, and that would just go underneath your pillow so it won't disturb your partner that's beside you in bed. I think I want to take a moment also to share another strategy. Let me grab it. Yeah, here we go. So this is an LED candle. Okay, and I just wanted to suggest that you consider, if you're really having a hard time with stress, that you turn on an LED candle and you sit quietly and reflect. But maybe that candle might be a way for some people to let go of what's happening in their lives, or if they're, if you're struggling with emotional distress or, mental illness. The reason I've got that candle by my computer right now is that it was a strategy that was suggested during the grief support group. I'm going to make a separate video about coping with grief once this finishes. That's in 2 more weeks. I just wanted to mention that as an aside. There's not a lot more that I'm wanting to say right now. I think the only thing else that's worth sharing from sort of the past 5 days is this. I had spent time preparing meals ahead of time and putting them in my freezer. It was really helpful having some food already available for me, already in the freezer. And when I knew I was going to be weak, well, that's one less thing that I have to worry about. This is opposed to what really amounts to grazing all day and just sort of not having, 3 meals or maybe 4 or 5 smaller meals. And it's one of the ways that people can end up putting on weight. Okay, I've said what I wanted to for this video, and I've talked enough that it's given a few ideas of what you could pursue. I'm only wanting the best for each of you in your lives. I do think, though, if you're dealing with a hard time in your life right now, that you don't underestimate the value of self-care and loving yourself during the midst of what may be a difficult time in your life. Okay, hope you're doing well, everybody. Have a good day. Bye for now.